It just takes a couple seconds to get the cool. What's up, y'all? It is Lead House 365. We are back for our first episode of the new year at the closing table, where we talk about everything it takes for real estate investors, entrepreneurs to get to the closing table. And as always, I'm Drew from Lead House 365, one of the co-founders of Lead House 365, with my partner over here, Craig. And today we got super excited to have Carlos on the live stream. Carlos is an investor himself, but would love to just get started by just hearing a little bit about your background and what specifically what got you to today where we're talking.
Okay. First of all, what's up, everybody? Craig, thank you for inviting me on. I really appreciate it. So I'm a wholesaler here in South Florida. I've been wholesaling now. Let's see, my oldest kid is 16. So I've been wholesaling, man, I would say like 14, 15 years here in South Florida. I've been wholesaling a long time. I'd like to consider myself one of the OGs here in South Florida. But the way I got started, pretty interesting. You guys know the Wolf of Wall Street. I forget his real name.
Jordan Betancourt.
Jordan Belfort.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jordan. So when that movie came out, I actually had an IT company, and I was working full time in a dental office, and then I had a few dentists who are clients in the Boca Raton community. So was doing the 9 to 5 thing and also hustling on the side. And then the movie Wolf of Wall Street came out, and then Jordan Belfort was doing sort of like a tour about sales, right? So obviously sales and IT, they kind of go hand in hand, right? Because you got to sell yourself to get more clients. So I said, yeah, I'm interested in hearing what Jordan has to say. So he came, South Florida. I forget where he spoke at, but anyway, I went. And at the end of his talk, he started talking about real estate and getting deals with no money down, no cash, no credit. And I was like, and I was always interested in real estate, right? So like 10 years prior, I actually took the real estate to get a license, right? So I took the course. I went to Gold Coast School of Real Estate. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Gold Coast. So I went to Gold Coast and took the course and passed the class, but I never took the exam to get my license, right? At the time, I was a young guy. I was like 22, 23, and about to get married. And I didn't have the confidence in myself to the fact that, I thought that I needed a 9 to 5 job, right? Like I needed that secure check, right? I didn't have the confidence in myself to, be able to go out and hustle and not have a 9 to 5, right? Not have that guaranteed check. So I didn't go through with getting my license. Went the safe route, got the 9 to 5, and ended up doing IT. Well, anyway, fast forward, like I said, Jordan Belfort came, started talking about real estate, no cash, no credit. And real estate has always kind of like been in the back of my head. And I'm like, that's interesting. So, of course, he was selling the course. It was like $5,000. Didn't have the money for it. But I went home and I punched into Google, real estate, no cash, no credit. And the term wholesaling came up. And I'm like, this is interesting. So, sort of kind of went down that rabbit hole, right, of wholesaling. And man, I forget the guys that were on top at the time, but man, it was just a fascinating time in real estate, like wholesaling, like, wow, this is interesting. So I started to kind of like hit YouTube. At the time, Periscope was a big thing. So I kind of, had a close-knit bunch of people that we all just kind of jumped into wholesaling at the same time. Fast forward 11 months, it took me to do my first deal. 11 months. But man, that's just my personality, right? Like once I get hooked on something, like I refuse to quit. Like I'm going to do it until I become super successful. Yeah. And it took me 11 months to do my first deal. And in the process, right, like lost my home, the foreclosure, like super, super difficult time, bro. But I refused to quit. I went all in. I got my first deal. It was a for sale by owner on Craigslist, right? Called them up. Bro, I was so green that like when I sent the lady the contract, she's like, no, baby, this contract is wrong. But I've done a few real estate deals. Let me show you how to fill out a contract. Like the seller was showing me how to fill out a contract. That's how bad I was.
The rapport must have been there though, right?
No, the rapport was there.
Yeah.
And rapport is everything. Like everybody that's watching, like don't get caught up in scripts, bro. Like rapport is everything. Build rapport with these sellers and they will do anything you want them to do. Rapport is everything. Like don't get caught up in the script. So I had a really great rapport with her. She helped me fill out the contract. Fast forward, did the deal, $5,000, my first wholesale deal. And I'm like, wow, this is real. This is real. And bros, I never looked back, bro. That was like the first deal. Then the next deal came a month later.
Yep.
Then I started writing out yellow letters on the kitchen table with my wife, sending out letters. And here I am, 14, 15 years later, living the life of my dreams, right? And for me, it's all about time, controlling your time, right? Like I'm big on fitness now. Craig, I'm sure you know, but I was almost 400 pounds. Like I was 390 pounds on the verge of really having a heart attack. And, my cardiologist is like, bro, you gotta cut this out. You gotta change your life. And over the past 2 years, I've really just dedicated myself to fitness. And, I'm in the gym 2 hours a day, right? But if I didn't control my time, like I wouldn't be able to do that in the middle of the day. You know what I'm saying? So, but, to say that, I say all that to say like, there's nothing better than being your own boss, but at the same time, it's extremely stressful. And it's like, not all cracked up, on Instagram, they paint this picture like, oh, be an entrepreneur. It's, bro, it's super hard. Like, it's super stressful. Like, even to this day, like, I'm successful, but it's still stressful. You know what I mean? Like, you go through ups and downs. That's just a part of the game. But I wouldn't have it any other way.
For sure.
I wouldn't have it any other way, guys.
That's amazing, dude. That's an amazing story. Yeah. Carlos, let me ask you this. This question just came about. Well, first off, was your first deal in your backyard, South Florida?
100%.
Do you think you would have gotten to a deal faster if you were in maybe a C or a B market like Buffalo, Milwaukee, Cleveland?
Then, no. Now, yes.
Got it.
The game has changed.
Yeah. So do you think maybe because you were green and you felt more comfortable about doing a deal that you could physically see, go to, meet?
100%.
Virtually. Okay.
100%. Because, 10, 15 years ago, virtual wholesaling really wasn't a thing. Yeah. Not like it is now.
Yeah.
Like now, like even for me, like the second quarter, I'll be in North Carolina, in a couple of other states because, the truth is, if you want to hit 1 million, you have to be in different markets. Like you just have to be, right? Like the virtual game. And it's so easy to do virtual real estate now. Like back then it was a different game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for all the guys watching, like there's different ways that you can, find out the hottest markets. But I would definitely start that way for sure.
Yeah.
What do you look for when you're looking into like what's the next market you're going to go into? Like you talked about North Carolina, you know, what's the criteria you kind of look for?
So my criteria is very simple. It's basic. I look for high equity absentee owners. That is my bread and butter all day, every day. You got to have equity. You got to be an absentee owner, and you gotta have owned the property for at least 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just like my bread and butter in a nutshell. High equity, absentee, owned it 10 years or more.
Got it.
Because those sellers are more likely to be in a situation where they have to sell fast for cash. You know, they may be just tired of being a landlord, or they may have inherited a property and really don't want it, and it's just sitting there collecting dust. So for me, those deals are always easier to do, because it's like, hey, if it's being rented, I'll do the deal with your tenant in place. It's not a problem. Oh, your roof's caving in? It's not a problem. I'll take. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, those are the easiest deals to do.
Yeah, and then also almost every single one of them, you can actually make a cash offer to them because they
100%.
have equity.
100%.
You know? Whereas it's like when you're going we deal with a lot of people that are just in very bad distress, but they just bought it, or they pulled a HELOC out or something. And the only way the deal can be done is creative. Now, still a wholesalable deal, just creative terms with it. That whole bringing the seller up to speed on how the deal is going to be done is a lot harder than just being
100%.
Like, hey, here's what, here's your offer. It's kind of like, hey, here's your offer, but it comes with this and this and this. Do you still feel comfortable? It's a little tougher.
Yeah. And I've never done like a creative finance deal because it's a lot, man. It's a lot goes into it. I like cut and dry wholesale deals.
Yeah. That's like my personal bread and butter. Is portfolio is nothing but creative finance. But
and that's a great way to build a portfolio.
True.
That's a great way to build a portfolio.
But I look dumb a lot trying to explain how it works because these sellers looking at me like I'm speaking a new language. And but over time, just like anything else, you just get better with it.
Yeah. Now, do you find that a lot of the sellers get turned off by the creative options, or?
Not now, because anytime, me personally, if I ever speak to a seller and I ask them how long they own the home, like I let them know, hey, look, here's what you're going to have to do. Like whether it's me or anyone else, if you want to sell and get out of the mortgage, you're going to have to sell on the market and you're going to have to pay money, because when you get to the closing table, commissions, closing costs, realtors, all that, it's coming 100%. Out of your end. Or, you can get a little bit of cash, but that loan that you just got was scheduled for 30 years. So you're not going to have anything, but I can keep that loan in place, give you some cash to walk, paperwork different, process same. Title, all the paperwork is saying is to tell title that loan is staying there. That's it.
Right.
So, but at first, trying to explain that to them, scam. It's tough at first, but now it's I do multiple of these deals every single month. It's a lot easier, and then so it's just kind of like the level of distress, That person has no choice; they got no choice. Then it's a layup.
Right, 100%.
Yep. So you said you're going into other markets, North Carolina, Florida. What is attracting you virtually?
So I'm in South Florida. So I'm in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. So, like I said in the second quarter, looking forward to going into Orlando, Jacksonville, Tampa, North Carolina, and a few other places. And for me, it's just like I want to do over $1 million this year, and that's the only way I'm going to do it. Like I can stay in my market and be comfortable, but I want more.
Yeah,
I want more. Like there's no reason why I shouldn't be doing over $1 million a year.
Yeah,
I have the capacity to do it, so stop playing around and just do it.
There you go. How big is the size of your team?
What's that?
How big is the size of your team?
Man, my team is super small, right? So, and I'll be, once I venture out, I'll have to grow the team.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a team of cold callers that do all the cold calling, and then I handle really everything else as far as calling the sellers. Because keep in mind, I'm here in Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, so I get about maybe 2 or 3 warm leads a day. So it's nothing crazy. So it's just me and the cold callers.
Yeah.
For now, but once things get we expand a little bit, then at that time I'll probably look for an acquisitions manager, somebody to call the warm leads, and I may stay on dispo for a while, but then eventually I'll hire somebody to handle dispo, and I'll just kind of oversee and work on the business as opposed to working in it.
For sure.
But I'm extremely hands-on. Like I go to all the appointments, I'm working with title, working with the sellers. If it's a JV deal, I'm working with other wholesalers, and I love working with other wholesalers. Like, I enjoy it. So yeah, I'm super hands-on.
Sorry, Craig, I have one that we like to ask. Maybe you're about to ask the same one. Tell us about we get a different response to this every time. Also just like the way you interpret it, but like, what's the craziest deal you've done? Sometimes we've had it be like, the condition of the property, the condition of the seller, the way the deal unfolded, or the size and scope. It could be whatever, however you want to interpret it. Always like to ask just the craziest thing they've seen in this game.
I'll tell you about a deal. It was actually in December. The deal didn't close, right? But I was dealing with a seller, an older guy who has this massive portfolio. But the issue is his daughter, while he was in the hospital under like sedation, had a notary come in and have him sign these trust papers, making her 50-50 of his trust of his entire portfolio, right? He hates his daughter. She's basically trying to kill him off, right? So he was in the hospital. He signed it. He should have never signed it. He signed it. Anyway, cold callers get a hold of him. I'm working with this guy. Fast forward, we get to the closing table, or an hour away from closing, right? And this is going to be a massive deal. This was like maybe like an $80,000 wholesale fee, right? Assignment fee. So an hour before closing, title is like, hey, he has a trust, because he thought that he could just sign on his own because the language in the trust wasn't very clear, right? So he thought that he could do everything on his own. So an hour before closing, title is like, hey, Carlos, make sure that this guy has a bank account in the trust name, right? So I call him, hey, so-and-so, make sure that, you have a bank account tied, to the trust in the trust name. He's like, I don't have one, but I'm going to go to the bank and do it. He gets to the bank. He shows them the trust. The bank is like, we can't do this without your daughter. So title gets wind of that, and title is like, yeah, we were going to do it before, but if the bank is not going to do it without the daughter, we're not going to do it without the daughter either. Deal totally fell apart an hour before closing. Wow. Supposed to be an $80,000 wholesale fee. Gone. Just like that. And I tried to talk to the daughter. I told him, like, bro, listen, give me your daughter's number. Let me talk to her. She was total nut job. She's like, oh, let me think about it. Totally ghosted me, never returned my calls. And meanwhile, all of the properties, they're going to lose them to tax deeds in like March. So they have to sell, but deal fell apart, gone, just like that.
Crazy. Wow.
Yeah. Right before the holidays. Man, Christmas would have been lit with that assignment fee, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. That's a part of the game, man. That's real estate, dude. Like, you never celebrate until that wire is in your account. And even now, bro, like I'll do a $50,000, $60,000 deal. Like I've done so many deals, I don't even celebrate. I just on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but don't celebrate until that wire has hit your account. It's not a done deal.
We have having the sometimes the ones that are like, I have no idea if this is how this is gonna go, and then it gets done super easily, and some that's like the absolute most layup person who's just laying down, and then you get to the finish line and they change their mind at the last second, or some other investor comes in with $5,000 less, and all of a sudden it's like you've gotten through all that work all the way to that point.
Yeah.
Now someone just comes in and tries to vulture it away, and now the person's, it's a
wild ride, man. Real estate is not for the weak. It is wild, and it's getting wilder out here.
You can be flipping shoes or flipping watches. The higher that the tier of what you're flipping, sure, the payoff is there, but also the headache is
100%
1-to-1 more difficult.
No doubt about it.
And so it's crazy, and a lot of times for these sellers, this is going to be the biggest financial transaction they might ever do in their entire life.
Yeah.
And so it's obviously they're trepidatious. So I think it's just like that rapport you talked about. How can you build trust with them that you're the right person? Because the money is the numbers are the numbers. There's 100 guys in Miami that could be offering the same exact number as you, but who the person is and do they trust them? Do you build a rapport with them? Some of these guys we've worked with are just virtual wholesalers with cold call teams overseas, and they never gonna ever try to really build a rapport with a person, or they're just trying to get them under contract and then try to hit them with just an insane for whatever they can, whatever number the person says, and then try to reduce it from there, versus trying to be upfront with them about the reductions and what type of thing. And our Craig and I's method is always like, be as upfront as we can, build trust, and no matter what, give value. Even if there's absolutely no way we can work 100%. With this person, what value can we give them as far as information, education of like, hey, we're not going to be the right fit from you. I don't think everyone else will be either, unless you're willing to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But telling what their avenues are for help and support for whatever situation they're in, even if we can't be the ones to help them. And that way, if 6 months from now their situation changes, they figure out some stuff.
Bingo.
We're the person they come back to when they're getting 100 cold calls a day because they some type of bank record or tax record updated.
Right. Yeah. Right. 100%. You have to provide value, especially today where everybody got cold callers and these sellers are getting bombarded. What separates you from the other guys, right? And that's being authentic and providing value. I had a deal in November with a guy. I bought 3 of his properties, right? And we're getting ready to do another one. And, we're getting ready to go into escrow, and his daughter calls and she's like, Carlos, cancel the deal. My mom is sick and my dad is not well, and this was going to be a great deal too. But she's like, we need to hold on to this one. And, the property was in distress. So I, gave her my GC's number, and he's working with her right now to, bring things up to code. And, and if things don't work out, guess what? She will call me, because it's not all about the paper, right? At the end of the day, it's about, can you provide value and really help these people out, even if you're not going to make a dollar on it,
Yeah. Paying it forward, right? That's what they call it.
100%. 100%.
It always comes back around.
It really does.
Hey, I did want to ask you. So the $80,000 deal that didn't end up closing, are you doing anything to protect your interest in that property to try to pursue it?
That's a great question. So normally I would file a notice of interest, just to kind of keep myself in the game. But to be honest, bro, like I was just so tired of him at the end of the day, tired of her, that I just like, you guys can have that.
Yeah.
You guys can have it, man. Like, but normally I would definitely just have my attorney file a notice of interest, or, send them a letter, force them to perform or something like that. But all money's not good money. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So I just let that go, man. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You gotta take an L sometimes.
You got to, man. And that's what, a lot of people fall off from stuff like that. We've worked with 100 investors just the past couple of years. And some people, like you said, count how many contracts they have. Oh, I got 10 contracts. I got 10 closings. I got X amount of dollars hit my bank account. And it's just with the level the market is in right now.
Yeah.
The percentage of getting that deal to the closing table is so much lower than what it was prior, like before COVID or whatever. And we just noticed that, hey, people who are, kind of counting their eggs before they hatch always are going to end up in a worse position.
100%. 100%. You can't count that W until that wire has hit your account. Otherwise, you're going to get disappointed.
Yep. It's almost like spending the money before you have it.
Yeah, you can't do that. Not in this game.
For sure. So, hey, tell me a little bit about your sales process. You get a new lead. How does that go?
Yeah. So the cold callers are dialing. I have them dial from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. And when they, and it's like I told them, listen, guys, your job is to just get me somebody who's interested in selling. You don't have to pitch them. You don't have to just get somebody that's interested in selling. I will handle the rest.
Yep.
Right. So the cold callers are dialing. The leads go into a Google Docs spreadsheet that we all, sort of have access to. So like today, I haven't checked the lead sheet. I'll probably do it after this call. So I'll check the lead sheet and, everything's in there. Seller first name, last name, property address, property condition. Is it occupied? Is it vacant? How soon are you guys looking to close? And maybe like one or two other questions. And there's a call recording also, so I can listen to the call and kind of get an idea of what the temperament is of the seller, even before I speak to them. But that's all on the spreadsheet. So I listen to the call, check the notes, and then I give them a call, and then it's kind of up from there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's super simple. Like I don't have a complicated sales process, and maybe it'll get a little more sophisticated as I grow, but I'm in my backyard still, so for me it's not that serious.
Gotcha.
I got a question here. How much does pay per, Craig, maybe this is a good one for you. How much does the average client pay per deal or flip, not wholesale, but take down and flip?
How much does your average client? Oh, okay. Average wholesale. Let me read this question one more time. Average client pay per deal. They flip, not wholesale, but to take it down.
So, I guess how much, maybe marketing spend would you expect someone have to invest into a channel, whether it be paid advertising or direct mail? It's going to be different for what channel you're going and where that lead came from. But to get a deal that you take down and flip, the average across the industry of how much marketing dollars I guess you have to put in specifically for us, it depends on the who. I mean, some guys can get it like Carlos was just saying. The person, right, is going to determine how many deals they get done. You can have someone who's not a great people person, not a great communicator, maybe not the best. We talked about educating the seller about what the process is like, but they could have the most hottest leads with the most amazing sales process, and they could lose every single deal they have. We also have guys who are in their 60s. They've been doing this since pre-internet, and they just have a cell phone and a pad of paper that can get you to sell your house with one phone call, right?
Yeah.
So for us, how much is the average person? We'll come up with I'm sure we can come up with a number, but that's also going to take into account who it is. That I wouldn't expect that to be for you, because I don't know who you are, who your sales process is, how much how much you've been doing it. But for the average person, I would say for what we usually generate for leads, I would say 1 in 12 leads, maybe we can like a solid person who knows what they're doing with a good process. 1 in 12 leads, maybe they can get under contract, right? And then how many contracts on average, do you have to send out to get a deal? Maybe 1 in, I don't know, Craig, 5, 8.
Well,
maybe?
Yeah, I think 1 in 12 maybe, and then how many actually make it to the closing table?
Yeah,
Not
like 1 in 5
deal.
of those contracts maybe actually make it to the closing table on average.
Yeah.
But also, we've had guys who've had 200 leads and never get a contract. We've had guys who give one
That's
lead,
wild.
one deal, one contract, one close. First one you send them. It's such a thing, and there's so many variables that go into it. Like how many touchdowns does the average football player throw? Right, that you can talk about that number, but that doesn't mean that like any of us could do it in the NFL, right? Like, so it really is the hoop. But I would say, yeah, I'd say like if you're just looking for like educational purposes, I would say 1 in 12 leads. If you have good leads, lead source, maybe 1 in 12 of those, in theory, should be a contract if you know what you're doing and you have a solid lead source, and then potentially for every one contract. Maybe you have 1 in every 5 contracts on average. So maybe you need about 60 leads to get a deal done. And I would say our leads for us, we generate, it depends on how specific of your buy box is. If you have your buy box is like this house has to be in this zip code and cannot have a swimming pool. That's a much more expensive lead than just this house has to be in the USA and the person just wants to sell, right? That lead can be $10. Right. The more specific we get, like for your buy box, Carlos, it may be somewhere between 75 to 150, depending on your buy box for just that area. Miami is a pretty premium market, just like everything else. Like if you go into a gas station in Miami, the gas will probably be more expensive than a half hour outside in the outskirts. Right. A Monster Energy drink is $5 in LA. In the middle of Oklahoma, it's probably two for $5, right?
100%.
It depends on the market. So Facebook, Meta, Instagram, Google, LinkedIn, whatever lead source you're running as far as digital advertising goes, they're gonna mark that up the exact same, and it's because of the amount of advertising space there is. How many companies in Miami are advertising on Facebook? Probably hundreds of thousands of advertisers minimum versus middle of nowhere, half hour outside Oklahoma City. Maybe there's a few hundred, a couple thousand, right? So it's an auction. There's an inventory. There's supply and demand. That's why Carlos was talking about potentially expanding into other markets, because those are all going to have different seas of opportunities and different opportunity costs. If he's in, outside of Wilmington, North Carolina, it's going to be a lot cheaper to get leads and also probably a lot less competition. A lot less wholesalers calling these people up, trying to get that, and then coming in and trying to undercut you and compete with you. So that all comes into play too. So let's say, on average, maybe $100 a lead. You need 60 leads. So maybe somewhere between, $6,000 like in advertising dollars, maybe to get a deal, somewhere between that, depending on what your lead cost is and your sales process is. Maybe somewhere I'd say between a couple to as low as a couple grand to $10,000 to get a deal based on the rough math. And the better people are going to get a way cheaper based off your sales process, your skill level, and the quality of the lead and who you're sourcing leads from.
Yeah. Mr. Surfing, I don't know if you're still here, but I don't know if that answers your question. But I'd say probably from a flipper, they're probably buying deals anywhere, depending on the level of repairs, probably 30 to 60 cents on the dollar, because they need it for a good spread. Our average contract to deal, or I'm sorry, our average cost per contract is roughly anywhere from $500 to $1,500. But if someone, like Carlos said earlier, he does JV deals. If someone's bringing him a deal to sell, just to find a buyer, then on the front end, that didn't cost him any money. That cost the JV partner money. So
give me 1 second, guys. Let me just plug my laptop in.
Yeah, do you think? We got another guy that's asking as our main lead source on Facebook or Google. We do both. We do both. We advertise wherever we can advertise. We try to advertise. And what we find is that there's just different users who are going to be more likely to respond to a Meta ad or be on the Meta platforms, Instagram, Facebook, etc. more. And there's Google and YouTube people. It's just completely different mindsets. If people are on like YouTube, for example, they're in a mindset of they're willing to spend more time. They're willing to be educated. They're willing to consume and learn about something or a process. So you have to advertise to someone in that way. If they're on Google search, then they're looking for a solution to a problem right then and there. So that's going to be a hotter lead, but it's going to be a lot more expensive. We find the average lead cost on Google can be $250 per lead. If we're talking about Google search, those leads will be a little bit hotter in theory because it's solution-based, problem solution-based. Think about it like the yellow pages. I need a pizza restaurant. I look up P in the yellow pages. I go there and there's a list of all the pizza restaurants in alphabetical order. I'm solving that problem with like maybe YouTube ads and Meta ads. You got to think more like a billboard. We're putting advertisings up and the algorithm is finding people who are reaching certain numbers of conditions. So we've trained our algorithm at Lead House 365 to look for, we don't care about the quality of the house, the property. We're looking for like what the seller is going through. People who are going through financial distress, people who maybe have been applying for a lot of credit cards, their credit scores like been dropping maybe over the course last of a couple of years. Maybe
that's a good one.
Maybe they've had someone recently pass away and they are researching final expenses and things like that. Maybe they're researching divorce attorneys. That is what we've trained our algorithm to pick up on. So many people are focusing on like MLS data, right? Well, everyone has access to that and they're so focused on the property. How old is the property? When was the property built? Where is the property? What's the value of the property? Is someone looking to sell that? If once they've made it to that point, the competition this day and age with how many people have entered this game, now the cat's out of the bag, it's almost too late and it's really hard, right? Because and also a lot of that data is really inaccurate. How long does it take to go through all those, like the government works really slow. Those tax records gets updated and all that data eventually makes it to public knowledge, MLS or whatever, versus someone's going with the algorithms on these social media platforms. Someone was Googling divorce attorneys and reading some type of article on Reddit about going through a divorce. That triggers our algorithm to show them an ad, start showing them ads today. And that's kind of what we think about. We're always focusing on what the seller is going through, nothing about the property. Probably a lot of people see our ads. They're not even homeowners, right? But it's because we're focusing on the seller. And that's what we find gets us the hottest leads. We're focusing on the distressedness of the sellers and what the people are actually going through.
I don't even remember the question.
It was about Facebook versus Google, what the difference is.
Drew broke that down.
Someone searched, someone commented on Instagram. Google is like someone's looking to sell their house fast or looking to sell their house without a realtor, right? They're looking, they know what they want, but that person is much further along on their journey. With these platforms, you really have to nurture these people before they're even willing to give you their information. They may have to see your ad at least 20 times for the company, and not just one, maybe multiple different pieces of creative to where they finally fill that out and they feel comfortable posting their personal information. Or maybe they saw it first in November, but they're like, I got to get through the holidays. I got Christmas with my kids, and then I'm going to tackle this problem. We've already been marketing to them that whole time because we've picked up on some type of distress signal that starts nurturing to the point where they finally convert. And then what we do is we take that lead and we provide it exclusively to our partner in that market. So we have one partner per market. They have exclusive access to our lead source from these platforms. We do it all white glove, like hands off for you guys. So that's what we specifically do. We also do this for ourselves. We do deals every single month. We go nationwide. We just target markets that our clients are not in. We do it for ourselves in those markets. And that's what Craig said. We have a portfolio of rental properties. And then we also do JV deals with other wholesalers and just kind of sometimes just dispo the deals ourselves.
Whoa. All right. This question's for Carlos. We ask this to every guest we have. Everyone has a separate answer. Why do you think this industry specifically has such a high turnover rate versus anything else?
Because it's really hard. Well, I have a multi-layered answer, right? One, I think that these gurus online that aren't doing deals, the only way they make money is they sell these courses. And I think they're really good at it, right? So I think these gurus have a lot of the newbies gassed up, right? And they get all excited and, oh my God, I can do it too. And then they get in the arena and they find out like, okay, bro was exaggerating a little bit, right? Like, this is really hard. Like, it took me 11 months to do my first deal, right? And you're
someone who just think about what you've done on your fitness journey. Like, when you commit to something, you do it, and it still took you that long.
Absolutely. And most people are not like that, right? No. Like, 1 or 2 hits, I'm checking out. I'm done.
Flash forward 14 years, right, Carlos?
Yeah, 100%. So, and we're in that age, that internet age where everybody's selling something and everybody's pitching something. They're pitching trading, wholesaling, this, that. Even life insurance is a thing now, right? Like that's like the new wholesaling. Life insurance is crazy, right? But like, everybody's selling something and nobody's keeping it real. Like, nobody is telling you like, this is hard. Like, nobody's being honest. And I feel like people just get gassed up and they get sold. And they, like I said, they get into the arena and they find out like, bro, this is not easy. Right. And if you don't become obsessed with whatever it is you want to get good at, you're going to quit, bro. Like, you're just going to quit. Like, I was obsessed with real estate. I got good at it. I became obsessed with fitness. I got healthy and lost a lot of weight. It's the same thing with my trading journey. Like, you have to become obsessed. If you don't become obsessed, just pack it up. Yeah. Because it's going to get hard, and just pack it up now.
100%.
I was just watching it kind of leads into some of that, is a thing about the last really like 30 years and how like the economy and social economy as United States as a culture, we really were like, 30 years ago, it was a service. We were like really a service-based economy. Hey, like, I'm looking to sell my house. I'm going to hire this person to help me sell my house. Right. And that was like really the economy we were based on. And then it became like an education economy. It's like, no, I'm going to sell you how to do this. Yeah. Right. And I'm not going to be the one doing it anymore. And that's the way the economy got based. And everyone naturally gets to the point where it's like, you do it to the point where then you just become someone who teaches it. Right. Yeah. So you don't have to do it anymore, or you never even did it in the first place, potentially. Yeah. But now it's transitioned kind of after that, because that's been going on a long time. That's not new at all. I've been doing digital marketing for 20 years, and that whole kind of guru, I'm going to teach you how to fish type of thing has been going on for a while time. So it's transitioned to kind of like an influence economy that we have like the last 10 years, which is like, I'm following this person because they recommend this thing. And so I'm going to buy this product because this person who I like told me to buy it. Right. So they're not trying to teach me or provide anything. They're just recommending stuff, and I'm buying it. That comes to that. And now because of AI and the way things are going, we're entering the next chapter is going to be the authenticity economy. And what is going to be the thing that generates the most money and the thing that people are attracted to most is not going to be influence. It's not going to be education. It's going to be authenticity. Like, are you real? Can you show that you've done deals? How many deals you've done? Okay. I want to follow that person instead of the person who just looks like they're living the life that I want to live. It's not about the influence. It's not about the service, and it's not about the education. It's about the authenticity and being real and having a real community, providing real value and stuff is going to be what's going to be the biggest thing. And it's actually like going back and cycling back around to people just going out and doing it themselves, which is really interesting. And I think that's where we're headed. So when it comes to this, is like, I'd say what I could recommend to anybody who is interested in getting into it, instead of signing up for a guru or a course or a $5,000 course about it, find someone that's having success with it 100%. And just offer to go help them. Like, offer
value.
Yeah. That's how Craig got started, right? he started working for someone who was doing it. And maybe even that's an internship where you offer to learn it, because if someone is having success with it and they're willing to offer value to them and then learn it yourself, that's going to be how you streamline your way to actually being successful with it. If you think you're just going to be able to watch a course or some YouTube videos and put up some bandit signs and go succeed, that's the hope and dream they're selling. But the really thing is, I think it's going to be that authenticity.
100%. Bandit signs, man, that's a throwback.
I still see him in Orlando all the time, man.
Do you really?
Yeah, 3-2 home for sale, cash off,
Yeah, God, those are the days, man.
What do you see as like the main, like, kind of a the most, for you, the most successful way you generate leads? I know you say you do cold callings, or anything else you do?
Cold calling and SEO for me are the top 1 and 2. The issue is, in my market, SEO is just ridiculously expensive. So just doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? But SEO and cold calling for me are the best way to go. SMS texting was a thing once, but there's so many different laws now. I'm in a group with a bunch of investors and wholesalers, and someone just yesterday dropped paperwork about a lawsuit that they're actually getting sued by a real estate agent because he sent a cold text. Like, it's wild now, So you got to be careful with the texting.
Yeah, and if you're looking to build a rapport with someone, like, who enjoys getting a text message from a random number that they don't remember signing up for about something? Like, let's say you applied for a personal loan, and now you're just getting texts from all these different companies, like, saying you're pre-approved. It's not the best. It's not the best, I'd say, rapport builder or first.
Yeah, it's super invasive.
Yeah, which is why Craig and I really focused on inbound, is like people coming to us and saying, hey, I'm in this situation, and we find that's the highest likelihood, easiest way to build a rapport with someone. If you can get 100%. Getting them on the phones is always another thing. But when you do get that person, I love it watching Craig cook, because he gets on the phone with our inbound leads and he goes, so get me up to speed, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, 2 hours later,
Craig's smooth with it.
They just had their therapy session of everything that's happening in their life. And maybe that's all they needed, was someone to listen for an hour.
Listen, I think that's like, you want to be a good friend, you want to be good at sales, learn how to listen to people. Like, just shut up and listen. Like that, people just want somebody to listen to them. And if you can do that, that's half the battle right there.
We watched Stephen Trang, who's OG in this business. He called one of our leads, and he was on the phone for probably at least an hour. And I think he said like 3 sentences.
Yeah.
And he closed the deal on that call. Yeah. But with 3 sentences, he didn't even talk about numbers until the person was already convinced that they wanted to work with him. You know, some of these guys
themselves.
Like, how much are you looking to get for it? Right. That's how they have your information. What are you looking to get for? Right. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. I think that lady just wanted to be heard. That was it. Some of these people, they just want somebody there to listen to their whole story. They don't want to, be asked, what's the age of the roof and the AC and is it occupied, right off the rip. They want to, they'll answer that question along the way, but you need they want to just speak. I mean, like that call Andrew was talking about, this lady was crying. She was telling her about how her car's messed up, how she got, fired, just everything. She got cheated on. And it's, at the end of it, it's just like, at that point, you're just like, holy, like, she needs help, and I want to be the guy to get it done, because I feel some type of way. The best advice I ever heard was, there is a difference between listening to somebody and hearing somebody.
Yeah.
And it goes so neck and neck with this business. Like, anybody can be heard, but when you're truly listening, you're going to know, what to do, how to act.
Yeah. And you'll leave that mark on the seller.
Exactly.
And that great, when he was listening to her and he heard all those pain points, And then he was about to get to the point where he wanted to start talking about, you know, the transactional stuff. It was, so what do you think's going to happen if you go back to that job? Or, you know, so like you probably want to get away from XYZ person who treated you so wrong. Like that'd probably be what's best for your family, like get away from them. Yeah. So do you have any ideas of like where you would go, or like someone you can stay with? Like he was like solving all the problems of like what she would go through after the transaction is done, so that when they got to the point of the transaction, it's easy for her to make the decision.
100%. And
so
that's
many people are just
providing value.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have that on our YouTube channel, or we have it up, but that's a master class. If anyone wants to learn more about that, having the emotional intelligence and communication skills to succeed in this business, I think that's where you really got to start versus learning anything else about this.
Yeah. Just start by being a decent human being.
Yeah.
You know, that's tough
to come
just
by.
Be a decent person.
Yeah. That can be tough to come by.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. But that's okay, because that's why like people like you, Carlos, are having so much success, and why you're going to hit 1 million this year, and why you're gonna be one of the ones that people look on, and you can look back on this and not be saying, oh yeah, this is how much money I made, but like, hey, I helped a lot of people out of a lot of tough situations, and I was able to do that because I have a skill set to be able to problem solve for these people, and I'm able to charge a lot of money for that skill set. So.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Drew.
Yep. Greg, you wanted to touch on while we
we're getting close to the wire here. Carlos, we're in 2026 now. Mm-hmm. Where do you think the market's going this year? How do you think it's gonna work for investors, wholesalers, and everyone in real estate?
You know, that's a great question, and I'm going to be honest, man. I don't know. You know, Donald Trump, he's very active, you know, and he really does control the market, man. I mean, he can get on Truth and say one thing, and the market's going this way, then he can get on and, you know. So, brother, that is a really great question. And, you know, I really think it depends on how Donald Trump feels. That will determine how the market goes.
Did you see the meme about him, and it said your price action is no match to my tweets or something like that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like Donnie's he's out of control, you know. And then he posted something on Truth the other day about you know, the mega investment firms and the you know, limiting the amount of properties they can buy, and you know, that had a you know, everybody was going nuts, you know. So I really do think it's in Donald Trump's hands, man. You know,
I know that I think they're really going to shake up things. Is he said something about capping credit card interest at 10%?
Yes,
which I think that would be good for everybody. I think it would obviously maybe make people a little bit less distressed as far as financially. Yeah. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because people might be able to get out from that credit card debt, then they may be more likely to be able to get into homes, and that will help the future of the business. Because if no one can afford a home to begin with, and all the properties are just controlled by investors, where do people like us make money eventually?
Right. You know, and you know, the thing is with every cause, there's a reaction, right? So like Donnie talked about, you know, capping the interest rates, but you know, that's great for us, right? Like the consumers, but how are the credit card companies going to react to that? Like, what are they going to do? Because they're not just going to sit on the sideline and you know, they're going to think of something.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, to make up that loss.
It's also going to be a lot harder to get a credit card, hypothetically, that happens.
100%.
Now this tool, which sometimes like a desperate single mom, right, isn't able to get a credit card. So maybe they're now more likely to sell their property because they can't even get a credit card to get. And maybe you're going to need like the credit score you're going to need to be able to have access to credit is going to be so much harder if those rates are lower.
Yeah. For me personally, for my personal rental portfolio, 10%, that's the greatest thing in the world. I've been buying houses on credit cards for the past 4 years. So I would go in if I'm rolling it over because I get 0% interest credit cards for the first year. But
Mhm.
you know, if I don't do something with the house after 12 months, I'm paying that interest. But now I can just keep them on that card.
Sure.
My mortgage payment's covered, tack 10% on there, and it cash
Sure.
flows. That's cool for me. 50-year mortgages. Are those, what do you think about those? I mean, for the investor, I'm going to refi everything, dude. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
My payment's down to 40% of what it was.
100%.
Good.
That's great for guys like us.
Yeah, for the consumer.
But will those rules apply to investors, right? Like if it's not your homestead property, will that
only for new home buyers or something?
Is it only conventional or FHA buyers?
Yeah.
You know? For the consumer, they're never going to pay off their home. Even now they have a really low payment, but a 50-year mortgage on that thing.
Right.
Man, you know the equity, like how little equity they'll have and how much you amortize that thing for 50 years, a $200,000 home, you know, stretch it out for 50 years. That thing is, after the interest, it's you've paid 1.5 million.
Yeah, 100%.
People don't see that. So
that's the thing where, you know, a lot of consumers, they don't really educate themselves, right? Like they just see the, they just see the headlines, but they're not reading the fine prints, you know? So, man, if you don't educate yourself, it can get a little crazy, a little hairy out here, you know? So
we saw what happened in 2008 when no one was educating themselves.
Right.
And crazy real estate terms that they were able to sign people to. And how many people right now are just going to be looking at that payment number, right? That monthly payment and be like, well, that's great. We can afford that. Let's buy this house. And that's going to be the determining factor.
Sure.
Where, you know, when I went in to buy my car, he kept trying to make me focus on the monthly payment. I'm like, no, I'm focusing on this number.
Yeah.
This overall number and that interest.
How much am I really paying for this $20,000 car? Yeah. 100%.
So, I mean, we saw it during the boom of Airbnb 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And now look at it. Like
a lot of guys got washed up with that, man.
Now what happened? Airbnb bred pad split.
Yeah.
So everyone just went and turned their Airbnbs into pad splits or sold them or whatever. But yeah, that was a scary time. Thankfully, I never got involved with it. I don't know about you guys, but
no, I didn't either.
I was safe, but you just hear the horror stories because people buying these homes they really can't afford. But as long as somebody is there to go twice a week to party, you know,
you better have it in like Disney World, like some type of location.
Facts. College town or
College town, Disney World, where you can jack up the price per day at night, and you can have high occupancy. But because if
location,
you know, I love it because when you know, I'm traveling and I can be in the middle of nowhere, I can find an Airbnb for cheaper than a hotel. That's fantastic, but that's not good for the person who owns that home, unfortunately.
Facts. 100%.
All right. Well, Carlos, anything else you want to leave off on, man? We talked about a lot. We went over a lot today.
No, this was fun. I just, really want to encourage everybody to, really lock in, right? Like if real estate is something that you're really serious about, it can absolutely change your life. Real estate has changed my life. I've been, able to provide for my family and really take control of my time and, really spend my days doing what I want. But guys, it's not easy. If real estate is something you're interested in, lock in, but really become obsessed. And like you guys said earlier, if you can learn from somebody in your market that's actually doing deals and not some guy on the internet that has a Lamborghini that's never done a deal in his life, do that. Find somebody locally and offer value to that person. Hey man, I'll wash your car. I'll answer the phone for you. I'll pick up your dry cleaning. Just teach me to do what you do. Mm-hmm. So find somebody locally, but become obsessed with the process. Eat, sleep, drink this thing day and night, and be patient. Rome wasn't built in a day. I lost 150 pounds and it took me 2 years to do it. Right. So just be patient. Give yourself some grace and lock in,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll change your life.
If someone wanted to work with you or needed help in the Miami area, what's the easiest way for people to find you?
You can catch me on Instagram at CCJLLC or Facebook, Carlos Coppin Jr., and you'll see my ugly mug there on the profile picture. And DM me, man. I'm always open to working with people. I've coached people in this business. So yeah, just hit me up on Instagram at CCJLLC or Facebook, Carlos Coppin Jr.
Awesome, man. And as always, Craig and I, leadhouse365.com. What we do is we provide the hottest motivated seller leads at a fraction of price of the competitors. Our story, and we are investors ourselves. So the reason we created this business to sell leads is because we were generating such great leads for ourselves, and we had been taken advantage by so many other lead providers, PPL companies, and we all know the some of the players in that game. But we realized that there's a better way to do it, and there's a way to be more transparent about it, and there's a way to do it at a more affordable rate, and there's a way to do it exclusively. Where we used to book an appointment and we'd go to a house and there'd be 3 other people at the house too at that point. And it's right. And it's because some of these companies are taking the same exact lead and selling it to 3 different people and not, and there's nothing they told you that they would, do it. You don't know to ask those types of questions. So if you're looking for exclusive motivated seller leads in your market, you can book a call with us at leadhouse365.com and we can jump on and talk about what that looks like in your market. But as always, we'll be here what, 2 weeks, Greg? Gonna be the 31st, end of the month.
Yep, end of the month, we'll be back at it.
Another guest, our buddy who's actually a realtor, really killing it in the real estate game, high luxury real estate. So we're going to get kind of this whole like real estate conversation from his perspective. Nice. The other side of the business, which is going to be our first time having someone on that side, which will be really interesting.
Nice.
Cool.
Thanks for having me, guys.
That's the alarm.
Yeah, it's Cookie saying it's time. It's time.
All right, guys. Well, have a great rest of your Friday and have a great weekend, and we'll connect here real soon.
Take care, guys.
All right, Carlos. Thanks, man.
Bye-bye.